and the end of it all. The Alpha and the Omega. Don't get no bigger than that. Whatever's happened in my life, Coogan, and most of it's been bad, let's be honest about it. The only good things come out of my life is family. The rest of it ain't worth talking about. We've had to do what we've had to do, but that's to one side. But if ever somebody could have a second chance at life to enjoy at the late age of 50 years old what I'm enjoying at the moment, you know, I just wish more people could have this feeling and didn't have to have a son like mine to get this feeling, if you can understand what I mean.
Yeah, of course.
I feel, how can I put it, that I feel guilty about enjoying this moment like I'm enjoying it, and other people probably never get to enjoy like I'm enjoying in a lifetime. So if I can just express to them people that, you know, I'm so privileged, I'm so honoured, I'm touched by God to feel like this, because I know a lot of people out there will never experience it. They might come close, they might get a similar feeling out of a lot less. But for me, I've not slept since Friday, I'm not even tired. I drove 15 hours back from Dusseldorf to Manchester, delayed at the boat, but you know what, all I could think of was, I'm from the UK, and it's playing over and over in my mind like a record player. And that moment will be pressed between the pages of my mind forever, and it don't get no better. If Tyson, if he makes 55 defences of the heavyweight championship of the world, he exceeds Vladimir Klitschko and all the greats into one, it'll never equal the moment in Dusseldorf when he defeated a super champion in his own backyard, in the face of adversity, against all the odds. It was a mammoth, mammoth task, and he did it, and it happened to be my son, and I'm so proud of him. Words can't express. I did, Coogan, and you know what? I'll come clean, you know, because I'm a real person. You've gathered that already. Maybe I speak too much, I talk too loud. People will say, sit down, mate, we're sick of hearing you speak. But hear this, I knew from word one my son was going to win. But on Friday, no, it wasn't Friday, it was fight day. It was fight day. I'm sat in my room by myself, and I was thinking about tactics and whatnot. And I've looked up in the sky, and it was a dull day, and I seen a light shining through the window. And I've looked through a 3-inch crack in a blind, and where the sun was shining, I seen a lone crucifix amongst a load of buildings. There was shops, high-rise flats, guest houses, and I seen a lone cross, and it come out and looked at me, this lone cross. And it caught my eye for about 5 seconds. I've looked again, it's gone. And I looked and looked and looked, and I couldn't see this again. And you know what? I had a calm come over me like I've never felt. And something inside me said, don't worry, I'm here. And I went to Tyson, I went straight to his room within minutes. His wife opened the door. I said, where is he? She's laying on the bed. I walked in and I said, Tyson, you're going to be the new heavyweight champion of the world, without a shadow of doubt. I said, how do you feel? He said, you know what, Dad? No nerves, no nothing. I just want to fight. He said, what I'm going to do now is make a video. He said, because I feel happy. I want to dance. I want to scream. I want to shout. And after that moment, I think if we was facing Titans that night, my belief wouldn't have been moved, because I was calm. I thought, let them do all the skullduggery, let them pull all the tricks out the woodwork. God's dealing with them. But when you've got God on your side, no one can defeat you. And people may say, you're talking rubbish, mate. Your head's gone. You're stupid. But hear this. I am no stupid man. Never have been in my life. I've been through a lot more than other people. But on that day, I was touched and I was blessed, and so was my son. And I'll stick and declare, when I looked at him as a baby, I seen something special then. And I made this, what's the right word for it? I told them that this man was going to be special 27 years ago. And look, not a thing I said has been proved wrong. So pick the bones out of it, you can't. Right's right, wrong's wrong. They played the game, they played the crook game, it was on everything. It was there with it, side by side. Because like I said to you in my last interview, he's got 2 Churchills in his corner, you know, and no disrespects to Vladimir Klitschko's team. Those people haven't got the intellect to play with us. They're out the depth. Like they thought Tyson Fury was out with his depth boxing their man, they was out their depth messing with us, and they knew it. Because their battle, they had 2. Vlad, Tyson. But there was more worried about Team Klitschko against Team Fury because they know they couldn't win.
There were a lot of things that happened during the week, from the gloves to the ring to, you know, and despite everything and despite all these little things that happened, it's not for me to say whose fault anything was. I'm just saying these things did happen. But it didn't matter in the end, come Saturday, because what happened happened.
When you expect all this and more, when you go into a boxing competition like this, of this multitude and magnitude, whatever you want to call it, you can expect there's not just going to be a fight in the ring. You've got to deal with one outside of it first. So we sat down and we talked about it. I said, listen, there's going to be many mountains. We've got to climb them. We're focused on the boxing now. We know what we've got to do. We've got that part right. Let's make sure we've done our job in other areas, you know. And my brother Peter, I'll be honest with you, he should have been a lawyer, a barrister. Nobody would have ever got jail if he'd have been a barrister, I'll tell you that now. If I'd have had him as my counsel, I wouldn't have been doing 11 years. I say that now, you know. And we talked about it and he said, right, let's turn over and look at everything. And we did. We walked to the stadium that morning because I'll tell you what happened. They first hinted to us at the weigh-in, the weight. We knowed our man's weight, 2 ounces, then 9 pounds. And when he weighed 8 pounds lighter than he should have done, hackles went up. We thought, we've done our job wrong. Ours, he lost 8 pounds in 2 days. But all of a sudden, stay calm, skullduggery. It caused us to look at other avenues. And that's what we've done. We got up early in the morning, surprised them. They didn't want to let us into the venue. They tried to block us. We got in. Was you there? You were there or not?
Not in the morning, I wasn't.
So we was there. Me and Peter spotted the ring, like looking at that football field now. That's not right. There was no ladders around the ring. I've clambered up inside the ring. I'm walking around this ring. It was like walking on thick snow. You know, Peter's uncovered the mattress. He said, look here, this is a drill. So I said in broken German, Nick's gut. Because I thought he wouldn't understand English, so I was upset. I kept saying, Nick's gut. Get boss, get chef. You know, chef means boss, I think. Anyway, no chef or boss come. So I said to Peter, and he said to me, I'll come back at 2 o'clock. And I thought, well, I best keep away from that, because I don't want to get involved in it. Peter knows what he's got to do. He won't take a backward step, and he's going to do the right thing. He got there, and he hadn't done a thing. They hadn't changed it. So Peter blew a fit. He said straight, like we all agreed, no fair play, no fight. We never went for a paycheck. We never went for the money. We've already got money. We've got nothing, but it's a lot to us because we've earned it. But at the end of the day, we got there. It was hours before they come. Delay tactics. There had to be a big argument. Peter looked like having fisticuffs with the ex-world champion. But in the end, he showed his manly streak and said, right, we fight, take it out. Fair credit to Vladimir Vitaly Klitschko. He said, I'm a fighting man. He said, we'll move the canvas. So anyway, all that's to one side. The gloves was an issue again. Not what we wanted, but we put up with it in the end. Even the ring on fight night, wasn't happy with it. Swore to burnt Tyson's toes off. We put up with it. The wrapping of the hands afterwards. You know, how bad does it get? You know what I'm saying? How can you move a goalpost to that magnitude and get away with it? They might have done with anybody else, because they might have been thinking about the money. We wasn't. Unless Tyson got fair play, we were prepared to get on the plane. You know, and the oldness would have been on them. They've let 55,000 fans down, not us. All we wanted was a fair fight. If the best man won, we wasn't going to make an excuse. We'd have shook Vlad's hand. And believe me, I wanted to put him down in the after-fight press conference like he'd never been put down. But you know what? After the fight, I only had admiration for the way he fought. He fought admirably, you know, and he fought like a champion. He tried to defend his belts with all his heart, that fella, for his country. He tried to hang on for his country. And believe me, that shone out of him. and it took all of that out of me. And I couldn't find it in my heart to say one bad word about him because I thought, you're a man. You fought your heart out. And any man who can do that, forget all the crap talk, forget about everything. He performed, the better man won.
And he was a good loser as well, John.
He was a good loser. I admired the man, and I still do. You know, Vladimir Klitschko, we believe we have beaten the best heavyweight in the last 50 years. You know, he's proved it. A reigning, defending champion. 23 defences. And he's not called Dr. Steelhammer for nothing. And people may put him down after this and say, no, he never turned up, he didn't do this. Vlad was the best Vlad he's ever been, because he knew he had to be. And I tell you what, I could see that from his last 10 fights. He'd upped his game tenfold. But it wasn't enough for a young bull with brains. And he had brains in his corner.